Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Part-Time Artist Podcast. This is episode 195. Oh my goodness, we are getting up there. What is going to happen? I don't know. But of course, welcome to February. Happy February and happy Super Bowl weekend. And you know what this means. It is Black History Month, and we will have the Black History Month radio show on February 28th. Right here on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, hello, I love you. Thank you so much. Subscribing on YouTube is the best way to support the podcast, to support me, and to also support yourselves, because it is 100% free and it is jam-packed full of empowering, insightful stuff to help uplift you as an artist, as a creative person, as an introvert, and maybe even as an empath. We got a ton of stuff here besides a podcast, y'all. We got music, we got advice, we got meditations, we got book reviews, all types of stuff here. Please subscribe to the channel. If you are just listening at home, that's rad too. I know you have a YouTube account. You can always subscribe to me on YouTube. There's also a couple other links in the podcast description that you can use to support me. There's one link for Visible. If you want a new cell phone plan, click Visible and sign up just like I did. You can keep your phone, you can keep your phone number, and bam, pay $20 a month. It is so simple. I did it from my bed. It took me 10 minutes. You can do that. You can also sign up for Planet Fitness. Who is working out this year for the first time? I'm raising my hand. I've gone to the gym so far once, 1.5 times maybe in 2025. I'm going to go tomorrow, maybe, hopefully. But you can use my code to sign up with Planet Fitness for only $1. All right. What else? Oh, yeah. Camp fucking PUNKSYLVANIA is going to happen, and click that link below and buy tickets right now. The other half of the lineup, almost the full lineup, was announced, and just buy the tickets, man. It's going to be a 3-day festival. It is awesome. It is up there in Gilbert, PA, but you are only an hour and a half away from Philly, y'all. You are super close. You are in a very safe space. It's going to be awesome, all right? I really hope to see you there. And you know who else you will see there at Camp PUNKSYLVANIA? Our next guest. Let's jump into it. All right, I have with me a very, very special guest from right here in the beautiful country of Philadelphia. We have SOJI, the incredible SOJI. We have Abbey, we have Jessa, and we have Abbey. Welcome to the show. Thank you guys for coming on here. And before we get into anything, all right, I would love to know, and I'm going somewhere with this, but I would love to know what your favorite desserts are. All right, and I want to start. Let's start with Abbey.
My favorite dessert.
Yes.
Is it just like an ice maker?
Yeah, kind of.
Great. I like anything that has raspberry in it and also chocolate. So it could be like like a black raspberry cream or like a cheesecake. Mm-hmm. I love that. I love like kind of almost bitter tart flavor. So that's my answer.
That's a very good answer, honestly. That's very underrated, raspberry flavored things. All right, Jessa, what about you?
Anything with caramel flavoring. I also am a really big cheesecake or ice cream person, so yeah.
Excellent. I love this. Now the perfect dessert for you guys is going to be a caramel raspberry contraption. All right, last but not least, Ade, what do you got?
My favorite dessert right now is tied between this durian sticky rice. I had a kalaya. I dream of it. On a basis. Yes. And it's so wild because durian is just like notoriously this difficult, stinky fruit. But it was delicious. So a tie between that and just like a mango mochi, just oh, so good, so good.
Yeah,
You won up to me with the Asian treats.
wait, say that again?
I said a day you one upped me with all the Asian treats.
Yeah. Exactly. I just can't help to be an American. I just love a good old-fashioned homemade pie. I don't care what, it could be blueberry, raspberry, pickleberry, I don't even know. I just made that up. But a good old-fashioned homemade pie, man, just hits me right in the soul. Now, the reason I bring this up, and you guys are probably aware of this, of course, but when from my research, when we research SOJI, okay, 3 different things come up. Okay, one of them is like an Indian or Southeast Asian dessert dish is called SOJI. It's also a cleaning ritual mindfulness Zen activity in like the martial arts community. And lastly, it's a Star Trek character.
No way.
So, yes, apparently. So I'm wondering, of these 3, which is the inspiration for the band name, if any of them, honestly?
None.
No!
So wrong.
I don't
So
even
wrong.
think any of us are Trekkies. That's so funny, but
I didn't know any of these at all.
All of my research for
Yeah.
nothing. Well, at least we learned, right? Wow, I apologize to the Star Trek community. My goodness. So do we have a story with it at all, or is it just like, this is a really cool name? Is it worth getting into, or is it like, whatever?
It's cool. And so the name,
Okay.
I'm Nigerian, so I wanted the name to be representational of that. So SOJI is a short form of SOJI, which means the crown revived. And it also means street smart in Pidgin back in West Africa.
Aha, so there's a whole nother meaning. And now the description on Bandcamp comes alive a little bit. Shout out to the Bandcampers out there. Okay, interesting. I love that there's which one of these is it? And it's like none of the above. Speaking of Bandcamp, let's talk about this a little bit. Let's introduce this for the people. This is a SOJI Winterwolf split tape that is also available via both of your respective Bandcamps. First of all, how did this come about? How did y'all cross paths with Winterwolf? Is there a story behind this at all?
Yeah. So, again, so a few years ago, I was in a band called Full Bush, and I went with my partner Gary, who's a guitarist in SOJI, to New York because his old band called Worser had a show with Maffa, who's based out of New York. And Maffa and Winterwolf run in the same like music community. Actually, Nate, who drummed for Winterwolf, also plays hand drums in Maffa. So after the show, I was just like, this band is amazing. I would love to play with them. They're just like, I need some of this in Philadelphia. I'm not in Full Bush anymore. And I started SOJI, and in the back of my mind, I was just like, I really still want to play with Maffa, and we can start talking with everyone in the band. And that's how we just like immediately just like really hit it off with everyone in Maffa and Winterwolf, and just kept in touch ever since. So yeah, it just happened just from friendship.
Yeah.
And acquisition. Yeah.
That's something I'm noticing, like, people are becoming more and more aware of, and it's kind of always been a thing within the underground music community, but it's shifting away from this perspective of like playing shows to kind of gain fans or to, you know, you're obviously promoting your music, but we are playing shows for each other, you know, like in terms of the bands on the bill. Like we are playing for each other, and when these networks are happening and these relationships are forming, you never know where it will take you in the future. You know what I mean? You never know, like, where you meet this band and you're like, oh my God, like, you know, we feel so aligned, and then all of a sudden, boom, later on you end up doing a split. I have a bizarre, okay, here's my story with Winterwolf, which is kind of cool. So I was looking for, and it's kind of cool. So I was trying to do a music video. I used to live in New York City. I was trying to do a music video, and I came across a guy by the name of Zach Cooper. Shout out to Zach Cooper. And me and him were talking about doing a music video, and then we had later on done a music video with my other band. But in 2021, that is when I first started to do the Black History Month radio show featuring like all artists of color. And I just reached out on Facebook. I'm like, hey, I want to do a radio show with, you know, Black and artists of color, you know, get at me. And the first comment I got was from Zach Cooper, who was like, check out my friend's band Winterwolf, and linked me to Dead Body Fuck Party. And I was immediately, and this is 4 years ago at this point, and I was immediately like, this is awesome. And then fast forward all these years later, there I am watching SOJI and Winterwolf in the photo club, you know, after seeing you guys obviously at Camp PUNKSYLVANIA, and, you know, hearing about you guys. Like, these types of things are just so cool for me. You know, and it was really just, I don't know how to say it. I don't even know what that feeling is. You know what I mean? Where just like this serendipitous cross path thing happens. Is there any, like, for you guys, was there any band that you kind of saw besides Winterwolf where you, like, I don't know, like, you saw them in the beginning or something, and then later on it ended up being like, oh my God, like, they're our best friends now, or something like that? Everybody probably.
I feel like we kind of have like a friendly vibe. Like, all of us are pretty like outgoing and we'll be talkative, but I don't know that we have. I feel like Winterwolf is like that best friend band, honestly, because like
that's true. Yeah, they were the band. We were just like, those were just like our homies. Like, I don't know, it just was very naturally like brother, like just like sibling, like, you know, vibes. And that was like, I don't know, it just very naturally happened. We're, you know, very cool, and now, you know, lucky to be in the same community with them and a few other folks. But like, I would say like sibling shit was more of like Winterwolf for sure.
All right, so let's get into that. Let's kick off. This is the song that kicks off the split with Winterwolf. This song is called Fuck SCOTUS. Check it out. All right, that song was called Fuck SCOTUS, and you can go to SOJI215.bandcamp.com, of course. But you can also check out the really cool age-restricted music video on YouTube. SOJI's YouTube, we'll give a link to that as well. Really fun music video there. Was there like were you guys just, was it a spontaneous music video, or were you guys like, you know what, I like that ending scene in Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock, and like, let's do that. Who planned it out?
It's funny you call it a music video for Fuck SCOTUS, because our goal was to make really just a lyric video. And I wanted to kind of like, because I joined SOJI like a year late and replaced the old bassist, I kind of wanted to like have a project to like really contribute to the band. Because, you know, I wasn't like, we already had an EP out, like the music was written. I just kind of learned these songs that were pre-written, and I'm like, well, what, like, you know, I wanted to try and make an impact on for my own sake, you know, to try and like, make sure that I'm here now. You know, Abbey's in the band, Abbey's the new bassist. And I was like, I brought up the idea of a lyric video because I'm not a videographer. I don't do video at all. But I was like, I'm pretty sure I can make this come together. I feel like I'm generally smart enough, and, you know, let's see what happens. And then the way it was recorded was actually because of my limitations. Like, I was like, okay, well, I can't really do color grading. Okay, I don't know if I have the smarts to do like a ton of different lighting, you know? So I was like, okay, let's just do one light source. Yeah, let's do one light source. And I tried to do, I tried to do a few different scenes, but those never even actually came together. So that's where it landed on, just like one light source, one scene with Jessa jamming out to our song. And it was fun. I even had to learn how to video edit for that.
Right.
So
what did you use? CapCut?
Davinci. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Davinci. That's hilarious. Yeah. What was your, okay, so this is going to be just like a nerd question, but what was your favorite, like, cuz I know we always have the one screen where we're editing in Davinci, and then we have the other screen which is Googling all the things we want to do in Davinci but don't know how to do. What was your favorite thing that you learned from editing this video? If there was a specific filter or effect or transition or fusion or what?
I think it was, so this song is really short.
Yeah.
And getting everything to align perfectly was painstaking. And I think
like to align it with the song, you mean, with the audio?
Yes. Oh. Yeah, the audio. Yeah.
The worst.
And then, you know, the way that I cut it also had to be super line, but it took forever, and I had to redo it 3 times just from scratch, just because I was like, I'm not happy. Like, let me just redo it. I didn't know how to do it to begin with, so, you know, I really square one.
Okay.
But I think by the end, by that like last try, I really got the hang of it. And I feel like I have more confidence and kind of like momentum to do it again. Like I would love to do another lyric video. Again, the one thing I'd want to kind of work on next is like color grading. I couldn't figure that out for the first try. I was like, that's not something I'm gonna even touch, like colors.
To be honest, I just play around with it and see, and then I'm into like, oh, that was cool. Fuck it. Color boost is your best friend. Something that I learned about Davinci, this is the last thing I'll talk about it, but when I use Davinci when I do like punk covers, and I like record the song, and then I do the same thing, like edit shooting the video afterwards. And I noticed like I could never get it to perfectly line up. And then I realized that when I was like say I'm singing along with the song, I realized that even if I had it aligned, when I'm singing along with the song, I'm always a split second later. So I was like after I aligned it, I moved everything up by like 0.1 frames or something. And then I realized, I was like, oh my God, I figured it out.
I'm so happy for you.
And then I felt like a genius. Okay, guys, for all the non-Davinci users out there, you're like, what the fuck do I need to know? But you bring up something cool, which I want to ask you guys also on, which is basically like you had an idea and you had somewhat of a vision for this video. Now I want to ask Jessa, what was the vision that you all had for the band when you first started, and has that vision changed, or is it still, do you still have the same vision for SOJI?
I mean, I think it's still evolving, honestly. Like I think we all set out to have this band be kind of an outlet for a lot of frustrations that we were experiencing about just like different aspects of life at the time, and also just to be loud. Like I think we were just like, we want this project to be something where we're like actively taking up space and just like being free to do so. And I feel like that's still like, it's still coming through in our music, and it's still also like a vision that continues to evolve.
Now, Ade, what do you feel like in the beginning? What do you feel like was the first big lesson that SOJI learned as a band? See, because on this podcast, and the theme for my like YouTube channel last month was like about building a vision and, you know, trying to shift. I feel like artists are always dreamers, and like my goal is to try to shift artists away from being a dreamer and to have a vision, because to me, like when you have a vision, it's like you're putting a plan to your dream. You know, you're making it happen. And I think that that's something that took me years to realize that I wasn't doing right. But also, this podcast is to figure out how we can be like better artists and learn from one another. So I just feel like there's something, because you guys haven't technically been a band for all that long, but you've hit the ground running in a way where you are hitting the like all the right scenes and stuff, and even the small like the few shows that you guys do each month or whatever, they just seem to be so impactful and stuff like that. So I just feel like you guys must have had things aligned from the jump. Was that the case, or did we have to like learn a thing or two?
I think for the most part, yeah. I think one of the biggest things was kind of learning each other's musical language, like how we write, like, just like, it's really hard if you don't know where each other's kind of coming from musically. And also, I don't know, like letting loose about what punk sounds like, I think has also been a newer thing for us. But also for the most part, learning to say no. I wish we said no more. And I think it's because we did hit the ground running like right out the gate. We were like, oh my God, this is exciting. At this current time, writing feels like we're actually have the time to write. We've just been like writing to like have a longer set for so long and fill up the time. And now we're like, okay, what we're asking the questions you're asking us, like, who is SOJI? What do we want the sounds to be like? What have we not talked about in the past that we want to like really like dive more into? And I think just being slower and being more picky about what we do and do it with as well. I think we should have just chilled out a little bit, but we were excited, you know. So
I think that's such an amazing thing to put out there, because, you know, especially after COVID, it was just kind of like, let's play shows. Book anything. I'll play in your, you know, wherever. And now we're getting to a point where it's like, all right, we all need to chill, because there's so many shows happening all the time, everywhere, all at once. Like, you know, let's reel it in and put the quality over the quantity. I love that. That is so spot on. Now let's talk about the scenes a little bit. First of all, congratulations on the other day. You will be at Camp PUNKSYLVANIA again. Second time around. First of all, how was your guys' experience at Camp PUNKSYLVANIA the first time or last year? I don't know if you guys were there beforehand, but was last year the first time you guys were there?
Yes.
Okay. Right on. What was your experience?
To be very honest, we were a little scared off the jump. We're like, where are we in this rural town? We're used to being in Philadelphia. We weren't sure how kind people were going to be to us, to be honest.
Yeah.
We were like joking around about it, but like not joking around about it when we got there, you know?
As a brown band, you kind of have to look. I think you're more your spider senses. You're more aware of things like that as you move throughout the country and in certain towns. Yeah, so we were like, the fuck are we like?
I can only imagine, but yeah, I know what you're talking about because you see certain flags flying in the air and you just like lock the doors and and then you were at Camp PUNKSYLVANIA, and how was that experience?
Sweaty.
It was hot.
It was honestly interesting because I feel like that was like one of the bigger festivals we'd played at so far, and so it was kind of just like this fish out of water experience of like, wow, I kind of likened it to being like at Warped Tour again, honestly, because it was just like that whole vibe of being like at this big fest. There's so many bands, there's so much happening, there's so many people, but everyone was like super nice, and it was like really, really wonderful to kind of connect with like, I don't know, like more bands that we hadn't really like, we probably wouldn't have been exposed to.
I think it reminded me of like Warped Tour meets Punk Island in New York City. If you guys did you guys ever play Punk Island? I feel like
last year. Yeah.
You did. Okay. Perfect. 'Cause I was like, you know, I get so many wires crossed, but I was like, I could have swore I saw y'all up there, but I couldn't 100%. Yeah, right on. Punk Island meets Warped Tour meets almost Riot Fest, but not really. The last question I have for you here before we get into this other tune from this split is, and we kind of were talking around this, but have you guys toured for longer than, you know, a few shows in a weekend, like at one time? And do you even want to do that?
Yeah, it's been mostly weekenders.
Do you guys feel like that is just, I mean, we're talking about quality over quantity. We're talking about, you know, being more intentional and things like that. Do you kind of feel like we like this works, this is good, let's just keep doing this? Or do you guys feel like maybe touring will bring us outside of Philly in places we don't want to really be parked in? Oops. Is there anywhere like you want to tour to?
I mean, definitely. Like, I think at the time that all of these shows came about, it's always a matter of like what our availability looks like, because we have like a mix of folks who work, you know, full-time jobs and folks who are contractors. So yeah. It's always just, you know, figuring out what everybody actually can like do and get away with.
Okay. Get away with it.
In terms of like actually wanting to like go more places, like of course, like we absolutely want to, but it's as of right now, it's just like it's also the opportunity, like having the time off and just making sure that everything like lines up with like where we want to go and who we want to play with.
Mm-hmm. All right, now hot seat time. Where do the different punk scenes rank in the places that you've played? Which one is number one?
Oh, number one is Baltimore.
Whoa!
Yeah.
For punk kids.
Yeah.
Okay, I need some details about Baltimore.
smash it. We played a show with Constituents, which is another really dope band from there. And that show was just like, it just felt like another fucking level. It was just, first of all, it's like a Mexican. And
wait, were you guys at Holy for Holies?
No.
No, it was a different Mexican restaurant venue. It's
called Tacos Tijuana.
Tijuana.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, Baltimore.
It was awesome. So random.
The kids were so cool. I wish I was that cool when I was a teenager. I was like, oh my God. It was so much fun. The vibes were amazing that night. And for whatever reason, I feel like maybe it's because like New York and Philly are just so big that like it's kind of spread around. I feel like in DC and Baltimore, like all the kids are there. And, you know, I remember, you know, I just feel like because it's smaller, it's a little bit more intimate, and that makes like the vibes a lot better. That's how I see it, at least.
Right. Also, yeah, go ahead.
We played like a house show as well in Baltimore that was just fucking bonkers. Like kids were like bouncing off the walls, literally bouncing off the walls. Like in a living room, and it was like there was no space between us and the crowd.
Right.
So it's just we're basically playing the pit, and I swear to God, like they're doing like wrestling moves and shit. It was like insane. Absolutely, like the most energy I've seen in like any city we played. So yeah, Baltimore always brings it. We love playing there. It's amazing.
Yes.
You know what? After hearing this, I think I'm gonna extend a shout out to the rest of Maryland, because I hear good things about Frederick, and you know, I don't know if you guys have taken a drive down to Salisbury, where I have to shout out Lurking Class Skate Shop. That skate shop at the bottom of Maryland is the coolest place I have ever played. It's a skate shop in a mall that is just, the kids are just out there exactly like you said. It's just it's a really cool community punk spot. All the right flags are flying. And yeah, it just feels really safe and really fun. And I don't know why I'm so shocked it's happening in Maryland, but it is. And shout out to Maryland and Baltimore. We got to get down there.
Look, they honestly have some of the best scenes. Like, Baltimore has so much good stuff going on. Baltimore and DC, like...
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's somewhere, I feel like it gets slept on a little bit when it comes to the punk scene, but like, they have so good music going on, and everyone just like really like reps for each other. Like, they just come together, they do things together, they promote together. Like, there's no ego about shit in Baltimore for me. Like I used to hang out there like ages ago. Like, Baltimore is just always like down to just like community and do things together and like really lift people up. Like Philly does it, but like Baltimore is like about it.
I shout out to Baltimore. I am gonna find my way down there coming soon. You guys heard it here first. Baltimore is where it's at. This next song is called US Healthcare is a Scam. Check it out. Once again, the Bandcamp is SOJI215.bandcamp.com. US healthcare is a fucking scam. Okay, let's talk about songwriting here. Because something I love about punk bands in general, but you guys, is it is straight to the point. We know what this song is about, and it's like we are along the ride with you. You know, like I'm, you know, your molar hurts, you're in the waiting room. I'm there with you, dude. Like, who hasn't been there, right? Walk me through, I guess you guys are writing right now, but walk me through like writing a typical SOJI song. Does it start with like, man, that fucking, you know, I just assume there's so many things that are in the chamber that you guys use. Do you normally kind of start with, I want to write a song about this. This is what I need to get off my chest. And then you kind of build riffs around that, or vice versa. How does a typical SOJI song work?
So Jessa is the main songwriter in the band, so I'm gonna let her speak on this.
Okay, Jessa.
It's just because she's fantastic at what she does. She basically just kind of does what you know just mentioned a little bit. Sometimes she'll be like, we'll be writing and she's there like matching to like what we're doing in the room.
Okay.
Or like there's one song called Diet Libs about my old band, and I just told Jessa's like, me and her go like way back. So like she's like,
how
this
far
shit.
back? Wait a minute. How far back?
We're like a decade of friendship, maybe 8 to 10 years, somewhere in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. So it was just like my friend being like, oh no, we're gonna call these bitches out. Like, she takes a lot of like the collective feeling and like also has her own like, I want her to speak on that because I think she needs to get like some shine for that. But like she kind of like takes collective of the feelings that we're all feeling, but also just being like, fuck this shit, and like very to the point. Which is like one of the reasons I really wanted her in the band, was just like, I really like this person a lot. I think they're awesome, and I really want to like create something with them. So like the fact that she came in like guns blazing, like let's fucking go, like I was just like, this is fantastic.
Wow. Okay, Jessa. So walk me through your typical process, if you can share this secret.
So it's honestly so funny because yes, a lot of like the collective kind of understanding of like, okay, this experience, or if something like specific has happened, like that's just like shaking everyone, like news wise, right? Because there's so many fucking unprecedented times that we've been living through lately.
Right. So
it'll just be like, okay, I have all these thoughts, I have all these feelings. I'll just start like writing like about that specifically. And then like hearing like whatever like the band is working on like instrumentally, I'll be like, okay, like do these like link up lyrically? Does this like match? Like how do I like fit this in this like phrase? And it really like there's not like, I guess, like a straightforward process to like how I write. It really is like if I just like an idea will come to me and I just start like, you know, I'll start humming, or like I'll like type it out or whatever, just like however I can get it out of me, and like pick it up later sometimes and come back to it. Or I'll just like have like a moment where it's like I have the time, I'm just gonna like bang out like this entire just like thought process. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it's just like, all right, like I might not end up sharing these lyrics, but for the most part, like our process has been like they'll just start working on something instrumentally, and if I already have lyrics, I'll try to like fit them in or work off of just like what's already like spinning around in my mind.
Is there, so it's kind of like coming from a free form writing type, is there a SOJI notebook, or is it just like I'm writing on whatever's in front of me? It could be my phone, it could be a napkin, it could be a
No, I think I've gotten really accustomed to typing things out on my phone. So like the Notes app is like my holy grail of lyrics. But I have a few different notebooks as well. I'm trying to like get better about like writing lyrics out. But usually I'm like sitting looking at my phone. So that's the world that we live in.
When you're talking about this like mix and match, like in my brain, I'm thinking about like, you know, you have like kind of a roster of song ideas or you know, writings basically. And then there's like, I guess the band having this roster of like riff ideas, and then you're just kind of bridging the gap between which one goes with which idea. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, more or less.
Interesting. Wow, it takes me to like Duolingo. Sometimes I have to do that with Duolingo with the translation.
Yeah.
Of one language to the other. Now hot seat time again. All right, let's go around the horn. I want to know what our favorite SOJI song is. I want to start with Abbey. What's your favorite SOJI song?
Ooh. What's my favorite SOJI song? I think it's changed over time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be Fuck SCOTUS, because I worked on the lyric video, and also I get to start off that song as the bassist, so I'm going to say that.
That's a good one. Makes sense. What about you, Jessa?
Doug Burgum's Should Sleep with Open Lids. Yeah, for sure.
I was so close to picking that one. I was like, I had to flip a coin between that and the healthcare song. I had to like flip a coin, honestly. But yeah, I love that one as well. All right, last but not least, Ade, what do you got?
First Take is honestly my favorite, just because of the way that song itself came together, and also because of the little like fun little breakdown. I don't know. I just really, really enjoy that weirdo song.
Share with us how it came together. What's the story, if you can?
Sure. So we did a live split with the band Urban Waste, and it was for the series called Locked in the Basement. And it was all of us and like our former bassist, and we still had some time after recording like the 3 songs we had or something at the moment. And the person who was recording was like, look, we have to fill this time up with something. So we were like, fuck it, we'll write a new song. And we literally wrote First Take at that session without like the very, very ending. But it was just like we wrote First Take and we did it in one take. Like we recorded in one take. And that's what's on the Locked in the Basement series. And then we just took it home and we just like fleshed everything out and just became like the thing that it is. But it's like we were just like, let's just play around, do some fun stuff. And it was like Jessa wrote the lyrics at that time. Like everything was just like perfect. Yeah. So that's why we called it First Take as well. Yeah, it's just a fun song.
Amazing. Yeah. It just fell into place. It was meant to be. Now, you're writing new stuff now. What can we expect from this? Have we sharpened the knife of with our tools of SOJI songs, or are we throwing different things into the mix? Are we going to have a cover song? Are we going to have some piano? Are we going to have a ballad on here? What can we expect from this next release?
Like, what do we share?
I know, kind of like,
Well, we're writing an album, and
full-length album.
Yes. And we want to really talk about origin in all of the ways that it can be interpreted, like the many ways origin can be interpreted. But I think Ade was talking a little earlier that we want to take a lot of time, very intentional about writing. Although First Take was awesome how it came together, like we want to make this first like full-length album very good. So we're going to take the time to do it. I don't know. What else? What have I missed?
I feel like, no, that was a great answer. Yeah, it's, again, just like, I guess like tackling the ever lingering question of who is SOJI as a band, like what is our identity as a band, and how can we best like translate that with like, a heavy kind of like balance of like, we we're weird. We're a collective of just like goofy, fun, like silly people, but also like have had and are experiencing like just like so many shitty, horrific things constantly. Yeah. It's definitely like still going to be heavy. I think it's still going to be like, I don't know what people have come to know SOJI as, but there might be like some surprises in terms of just like what topics pop up on the album. I'll say that.
Yeah, and to add to that, I want to say it's also like, you know, we're talking about Black History Month, so it's about, hey, we are the origin of punk music and about rock. So it's like, that is what this album is. It's like, where have all those bridges gone? So that's going to be representational on the album as well.
Okay. So when we're talking about origin, it's going to be like things that are deeper than just kind of current event type situations. We're going to get some history lessons here. Interesting. Okay. Now, are we too far along to talk about release dates and things like that?
No, we're going to use this whole year. It's still February, so
we're taking our time.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Good to know. I guess my last question with you guys is, and it's kind of the same thing that I ask a lot of punk bands that come on here, because, you know, we come from the same scene and stuff, and you guys are super outspoken and really, like I said, you're hitting the nail on the head with the songs that you're putting out. Especially in today's time of 2025, how do you guys balance staying informed and like knowing what's going on versus not living like a total pessimist and being like everything just sucks all the time? Like, how do you guys walk that line of like, yeah, there's awful shit happening and I'm speaking on awful shit happening, but I don't want it to like consume me. You know what I mean? So that I'm not just like a negative person, because I feel like there's a lot of negativity in punk and there's a lot of things to be negative about. So, but at the same time, if we're just negative all the time, like we're letting it consume us like spiritually, you know what I mean? So, is SOJI just like the ultimate outlet, right? So like it gets it out there so you can kind of like breathe more easily, or, you know, how do you guys balance this all?
That's a big one.
Is it a big one? I feel like everybody might be able to answer this like in different ways. I have my own way about it, but I honestly, I don't fucking know. Like, to be honest.
Honestly, it's like a day-to-day thing for me, honestly.
Yeah, okay.
If we're being like super upfront about things, like to be upfront, I took a leave of absence from work because I'm undocumented, and when everything happened, I basically went into like shutdown mode. And my last thing to do before I like went away was like play the EP release shows, because I was like, I at least want to do this for myself. I at least want to get through this. But let me tell you, every fucking day from December until like, especially from December until like the beginning of this month has been like, I've been crying and in bed and shit like that. But I also have a really wonderful community around me that like really like an honest one, because there's a difference. There's a between like people who are just there for like, it's for this person, and I ain't here for that shit. We're not here for that shit. Real community means like, even when like sometimes it might be stressful for you or like harder for you, like you just step in and you help that person, or you just send a text, whatever that looks like for that person. And I really had that for myself. And every day was fucking hard, but every day I was like, you know what, like I got this really nice message, or my partner like came and made me breakfast, or like, let's go for a walk, or like those simple things, like coming every day, picking one thing to be alive for, picking one thing to be joyful for every day. Even if it's as simple as like, I got up and brushed my fucking teeth, and that was awesome. Like, that was awesome. So like, I think sometimes just taking that small step can help you get through the rest of the day, and just really trying to honor yourself, and really trying, like, it starts there at home, and just like really trying to be like, what are those small things that really bring me joy? So like going to shows, going to more shows, going, like, drawing a lot more, spending more time with friends. Like, what are those things that were like at your core? Who are you? You know, talking about oranges, what is your origin story? Who are you? And what brings you happiness? So every day, like, picking that one thing will help you, like, get by, I found. Because everything does suck right now.
Yeah.
But it's like you and your day and your life. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, just because everything sucks doesn't mean I have to suck. Like, I can still celebrate things going on in my life. I can still celebrate the people around me, despite all of that. Powerful. Yeah. That's powerful. Abby, do you have anything to add on that? That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It is. It really is. I don't know. I am thankful to be able to have, like, SOJI to create. I think that, like, when times are hard, you know, you can always try and make something that's better. And something that's great also about SOJI is that, like, it's a space where we can be angry and be, like, out and loud about being angry. And, you know, anger is obviously a negative emotion, but, like, as long as you have an outlet and you're doing something with it, something healthy and productive, and creating community and finding others who feel the same way, that does help. That does help kind of get me through. Among other things, this is definitely one of them. And, like, if we're talking about our band, for sure, it's important that I have like-minded people around me that can also create with me. Yeah, that's what I'll say. And other than that, like, I think that it's good to be around people who, like, have a general moral compass that is similar to yours, so they don't have to keep on explaining how these things are bad.
Yeah.
Like one thing that I do specifically, like, on a personal level, is, like, I don't want to watch the news. Like, I don't need to see what's going on. I know it's already bad. And it's great to be around people who I don't have to convince that that's the case. I think that's also something that I personally do to keep it together. You know, focus on the people who are around me, who want to create with me and who want to scream with me. So that's really helpful.
And you can find that at Camp PUNKSYLVANIA. I'll just tie that in there. You can find some people that will scream with you at Camp PUNKSYLVANIA, including SOJI and me.
I swear to God, that wasn't a plug. I'm being serious.
I may or may not be helping out with the street team at Camp PUNKSYLVANIA. Shh, don't tell anybody. Guys,
also,
what was that?
When is this coming out?
Maybe tomorrow.
Oh, never mind. I was like, well, just something really big might be happening. Just keep an eye on the SOJI social media for the rest of February. That's all I'll say for now.
You heard it here, and SOJI's social media, by the way, is SOJI_band. It will be in the podcast description. If you're watching on YouTube, I love you. It'll be in the comments section, okay? And SOJI, you can also check them out in a few weeks here in Philadelphia, and they're also going to the hometown of Taylor Swift, Reading, Pennsylvania. Which I think that's what they're gonna change on the map next.
That's better.
It's your mom's hometown?
Yeah.
Your mom is Taylor Swift?
Oh God, no. Please don't start that rumor.
I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. But you may see Taylor Swift at the SOJI show in Reading. You may.
Can you? She's a fan.
She's definitely a fan. SOJI, can you give me, right again, hot seat, give me top 3 bands that we should check out right now?
Make Lanier.
Yes.
Pucker Up.
Pucker Up. Okay.
Who else?
Wait, what was the first one?
Lake Lanier.
Lake Lanier. Who needs to make
They're
a
from
band
New York.
camp? You guys need to make a band camp. I'm shaking my finger at you.
No, they're figuring it out, but their live shows, oh my God. If you want a little sneak peek to Break Free Fest, that's Lake Lanier.
Amazing.
And the third band is Shy Godwin.
Oh yeah, I mean those. Oh, talk about other homies like besides Winterwolf, Shy Godwin are other like civvy homies, like very much so. Like we played our very first like big EP show with them. We've been trying to play another show, it has not worked out. But they're fantastic, and we've just been like homies and like hanging out and going to each other's shows for a while. Like they're great, they're amazing.
Very sweet.
You got 3 more bands to check out, and you can see even more bands. We are having the radio show live February 28th for Black History Month. It will be live right here on YouTube. You will probably hear a SOJI tune and much more. This last tune is coming off of the first SOJI release. This song is called SCUMLORDZ. Rip on, everybody. Stay creative. Go Birds!